modernist building like the Pique, the Rotunda, or Supersam grocery store, which are built and nowadays reinterpreted in different shape from designers, as on porcelain by Magdalena Łopinska. You have also the Zodiac Pavilion, that was also a store in the 60s that has been left abandoned and restored recently as a hub for architecture and modernist architecture in Warsaw, and also with artistic contribution from the same artist, Magdalena Łopinska, who recreated this big mosaic, because modernist mosaic were very important as in Ukraine, although to a lesser extent in Poland. So the relation to the 1960s post-war modernism is what shapes the relation of Poles to this typology of architecture, and it is extremely evenly present in contemporary design, especially in the specialty of the country, graphic design, so you can see it everywhere. There are two obsessions in the contemporary scene in Poland: typography and modernist architecture. And what they used to do is putting the two together. These are the different lines of trams and new streets in the country, representing blokowiska, these prefabricated blocks. The same here. And here you have authentic building across Silesia in the south of the country, all drawn with special fonts created for this work. And again, the neons are also a way of expression. So it is an ubiquitous visual language and grammar. You can see it at first sight in every single city, maybe not so much in Krakow and Wrocław, but Krakow is one of the less destroyed cities in Poland, and Wrocław basically was a German one. So this is a bit kind of an exception. It's turned to be that at the end, in Poland, modernism style, but also real socialism that was once rejected, are two key parts of, I would say, the pop culture. A very much vernacular culture, to the point, to the extent that it is what Poland, creative Poland, I'm not talking about the government, is promoting outside. And under the former government of Platforma Obywatelska, before the peace, hundreds of millions of euros were poured in promoting the image of Poland through modernist aesthetics. These are like typical best-selling object coming from the early 60s, like the Roman Modulewski 58 chair. There is a little cookie cups, and you see that in different support. Also in the vases, this post-war modernist aesthetics and lines very much connected to architecture. Actually, she made a series for us called La Cité about Le Corbusier by Magdalena Łopinska, who is maybe the most famous now contemporary designer in Poland. To conclude, or just to open actually the discussion, because until now we met already twice with Vidas and Vintel. We are frustrated so far because we could not share yet, so we are very much looking to the afternoon discussion to really engage also about techniques of co-design. Way forward, that things that we could take from these experiences that are maybe relevant for Kaunas. Modernism has full aesthetics. It's not only about architecture. Interpreting in a building, both as a musician interpret a piece and as someone living is communicating, like transmitting, interpreting a building, it's not easy. That's a big piece of concrete. Inert, who lived through the time and had a lot of owners and tenants, especially in countries like Lithuania. So it's not only about architecture, it's about living, it's about aesthetics, about traits. Somehow, and in the most respectable sense of the meaning of the word, modernism is also about pop culture, or it has to be. It's not only for experts, it's not for symposia of architects. This is very much what Vidas also transmitted with this presentation. It has to be part of life, of those who live in there, of those who visit, of those who lives in a wooden house nearby. And modernism as vernacular, not only global. There is a global trend in the UK, in the in Western Europe, in the Netherlands, about modernist aesthetics. That makes it also a global phenomenon that you can find in Latin America very much, but also in its latest form like Brutalism in Australia or Oceania. There is a global dimension, we can't deny it, but what is more important is what Weber said, is this localness. Ornament, which is not a crime always, how people live in it, living experience, we know it from our own building. It's basically a living experience. What Le Corbusier wanted for people living at the housing unit